Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Mukesh English, and this is your favorite YouTuber Mukesh Soni. Dear friends, in this video we are going to discuss the model question paper of 4th semester BCom General English SEP syllabus under Bangalore City University, that's also called as the BCU. It's a new syllabus, so we don't have the previous year's question paper, so obviously we have to rely on model question paper. And this model question paper has been taken from your respective or your prescribed textbook, right? So before we begin the model question paper discussion, we should have an eye, we should glance at the syllabus, because that's very important, because when we deal with the questions we should know that from which lesson the question has appeared. So obviously the syllabus is in the two sections. One is the literary skills, another is the communicative skills or communication skills. Under literary skills we have a novella, animal farm, which has the weightage for 20 marks in the examination. Then there's an autobiography, Oru Keri, by Dr. Siddhalingaya. There's an article, The English Kannada Combat, by Dr. R. Nagaraj. There's a poem, Stammer, by K. Sachidanandan. Another poem, Work, by D.S. Lawrence. So, novella, 20 marks, and the remaining one, I think so, about 30 marks, autobiographical idea, article or poem or article, etc., like this. Okay. Then communicative skills, so interview skills, group discussion, comprehension passage, report writing, summarizing, email writing, letter writing, basics of research. So these are the components of your syllabus. So let me remind you that the literary skills, I have done the videos. I have done the animal farm and autobiography, article, poems, these two poems summary. So all the lessons videos have been done. You can find those videos links in the description box. Um, okay, let's begin now. Okay, this is the QP pattern. The 20 marks questions from the novella, 5 marks 2 questions, and 10 marks 1 question. That means there are no 2 marks questions. So in your syllabus, you don't have 2 marks questions from the lessons. From novella, animal farm, 5 marks 2, 10 marks 1, and the remaining 4 chapters, 5 marks 4 questions. So totally literary skills consists for 40 marks, and the workbook, the communicative skills, for 40 marks, and this is how the question paper is for 80 marks, right? Interview skills, 1 mark 5 questions. Group discussion, 1 mark 5 questions. Comprehension passage, 1 mark 5 questions. Report writing, there's a field visit report or general report with choice, 5 marks. Summarizing, one passage is given, you need to summarize, 5 marks. 2 emails questions will appear, 5 marks. Questions on research, one into 5, that means to say 1 mark 5 questions. Then preparing questionnaire, again 5 marks. So this is the skeleton or the blueprint of your question paper. Let's begin it. Section A, literary skills, 40 marks, and here answer in a page. Okay, so 5 marks, 2 questions from animal farm, the novella. Write short notes on any two of the following. So you have here 4 characters or 4 important incidents, and you need to write the short notes on any two of the following. So let's begin it. First, Squealer as a propagandist. Squealer is the pig who acts as Napoleon's spokesperson. He's very clever with words and uses language to mislead the animals and justify Napoleon's actions. He changes truth in a way that makes that makes wrong things look right. He uses fear, confusion, false explanations to control the animals. For example, when the pigs take milk and apples, Squealer tells the animals that pigs need them for brain work, and if pigs fail, Mr. Jones might return. The animals who are afraid of Jones, they agree. In this manner, Squealer represents propaganda and shows how language can be used to control minds. Next, we have Benjamin. Benjamin is the old donkey on the farm. He is very wise but silent and inactive. He understands what's happening, but he does not try to stop it or help others. He often says, donkeys live a long time. None of you has ever seen a dead donkey. This shows his belief that life never really changes. For example, when Boxer is taken away in the van, Benjamin understands it is a slaughterhouse van, but it does not act in time. So Benjamin represents intelligent but passive people who do not take action. He's like a passive person who don't take action even when he's something like the person who don't understand. They understand injustice, but he doesn't take any action, right? Then Boxer. Boxer is a strong Boxer is a strong, hard-working horse who represents loyal working class people. He is extremely dedicated and believes completely in the leadership. His two main mottos are number one, I will work harder. Number two, Napoleon is always right. For example, Boxer works harder than all animals during the building of the windmill, even when he's injured. But later, when he collapses, Napoleon sells him to a horse slaughterer. Boxer represents honest workers who are exploited because of their blind loyalty. Fourth question, seven commandments, the most important one. Do by heart this question, seven commandments. This will appear in your exams. The seven commandments are the rules created by the animals after the rebellion against Mr. Jones in George Orwell's novella Animal Farm. They are written on the barn wall to guide the animals and ensure equality among them. The commandments are based on the principles of animalism and are meant to prevent the animals from becoming like humans. So these commandments are number one, whatever goes upon two legs is an enemy. Whatever goes upon four legs or has wings is a friend. No animal shall wear clothes. No animal shall sleep in a bed. No animal shall drink alcohol. No animal shall kill any other animal. All animals are equal. All animals are equal, right? So as the story progresses, Napoleon and the pigs secretly change these commandments to suit their own interest. For example, the commandment like no animal shall sleep in a bed, now it has become no animal shall sleep in a bed with sheets. That means they can sleep. No animal shall kill any other animal has become now becomes without cause. That means they can kill with cause. So finally, all the commandments are replaced by one rule. What's the rule? All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. So the seven commandments symbolize the ideals of revolution and show how those in power can manipulate rules and truth for their own benefit. They highlight the corruption and failure of the animals' dream of equality. So these are the four questions, and out of four questions you need to select only two, each for 5 marks. So 10 marks questions we have covered. Now we have one single question for 10 marks, right? From the novella Animal Farm. I think only one question you need to answer out of three questions. Let's see how. And that you need to answer in 2 or 3 pages. Animal Farm is a political allegory elucidate using historical parallels. So Animal Farm is called as a political allegory because it's not just a story about animals but also a hidden story about real historical events. George Orwell uses farm animals to represent real people and events from the Russian Revolution. The story shows how a revolution that begins with hope can slowly turn into dictatorship and suffering. The character of Old Major represents Karl Marx and Lenin, who gave the ideas of equality and revolution. The animals' rebellion against Mr. Jones represents the Russian Revolution of 1917, where the people removed the Tsar. After the rebellion, the animals create the seven commandments, which is like the idea of a new equal society, similar to the early goals of communism in Russia. Napoleon represents Joseph Stalin, who became a dictator after the revolution. Snowball represents Leon Trotsky, who was intelligent and wanted progress, but later was removed from power. For example, the character Napoleon uses dogs to chase Snowball away, just like Stalin removed Trotsky from Russia. Squealer represents propaganda used by Stalin's government to change the truth and control people's thinking. The final situation in the novel shows how the pigs become like humans, which represents how the communist leaders become as oppressive as the earlier rulers. For example, pigs walking on two legs and changing the commandments to all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others shows the betrayal of original ideals. In this manner, George Orwell uses the story, this animal form, to show how real political systems can become correct and unfair over a time. So this is for 10 marks question. Second question, how does Orwell portray the dangers of ignorance and blind obedience in animal form? George Orwell shows that ignorance and blind obedience are very dangerous in animal form because they allow rulers to control others easily. Most animals do not question what is happening on the farm. They believe everything the pigs say, even when it is unfair or confusing. This allows the pigs to slowly gain full power. The animal's ignorance is seen in the inability to understand the changes made to the seven commandments. For example, when the pigs start sleeping in beds, the rule is changed, saying that no animal shall sleep in a bed with sheets. The animals accept it because they cannot clearly remember the original rule. This shows how lack of knowledge helps the pigs cheat the other animals. Blind obedience is clearly shown through Boxer, the horse. He always follows the pigs and never questions their decisions. His motto is, I will work harder, and Napoleon is always right. Even when animals are suffering, Boxer continues working and trusting Napoleon. So, in the end of the play, this blind loyalty leads to his betrayal when he is sent away in a van to be killed. Just a minute. Okay, sorry for the disturbance. Okay, now we are moving to the next question. Sorry. The sheep also show blind obedience by repeating slogans like four legs good, two legs bed, and later four legs good, two legs better. They do not think for themselves and simply repeat what they are told. So Orwell uses these examples to show that when animals do not question authority, so leaders become corrupt and freedom is lost. Third question for 10 marks. Animal form reads like a fable, but it is a story of failed revolution. So animal form is read like a fable, but because it uses animals, a farm setting, and simple storyline to teach a moral lesson. Like a fable, it's easy to understand and has clear characters such as pigs, horses, and sheep. The story begins with a simple idea. What's the idea? Animals want freedom from humans and they want to live equally. At first, the revolution seems successful. The animals drive away. The animals drive away Mr. Jones and take control of the farm. They create the seven commandments and believe in equality. For example, they celebrate their freedom by singing "Beast of England" and burning tools like whips, showing hope for a better future. This part looks like a successful fairy tale ending. However, the revolution slowly fails because the pigs become powerful and corrupt. Napoleon takes full control and removes Snowball using dogs. Squealer changes truth to confuse the animals. For example, milk and apples are taken by pigs, and animals are told it is necessary for their health. This shows how the new leaders become just like the humans when they are replaced. In the end of the play, the revolution completely fails and the pigs become like human beings. The final commandment changes to the new commandment called all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Pigs walk on two legs. They do the business with humans. The animals cannot see any difference between pigs and men. In this manner, George Orwell shows that revolution fails because power corrupts and the original dream of equality is lost. So this is how we have discussed here 5 marks 2 questions and 10 marks 1 question from the novella Animal Farm. So totally Animal Farm will have the weightage for 20 marks, and I have done a summary and the question answers. Those videos are available in the description box. Now here further we are going to discuss 4 questions for 5 marks, each question for 5 marks, and these questions will come from autobiography, article and 2 poems from the syllabus. So 6 out of 6 you need to select only 4, and these questions answer should be written in 1 page for each. Discuss the themes of poverty and discrimination as reflected in Siddhalingaya's early life. So Siddhalingaya's early life, which is reflected in his autobiography Magadi to Manchanbele, clearly shows the theme of poverty. He grows up in a Dalit colony where basic facilities like drinking water and proper housing are not available. His family struggles every day to survive. His father, his father Dayavana, works very hard but remains poor and heavily in debt. Even small needs are difficult to fulfill, and the family sometimes depends on leftover food from the upper caste houses. For example, the narrator describes how they receive food like chitrana, puri, which shows their dependence on others for survival. This reflects the painful reality of poverty in rural life. The lesson also strongly presents a theme of caste discrimination. The Dalit colony is placed at the edge of the village, showing social separation. The narrator sees how upper caste people own fertile land, wealth, and power. On the other hand, Dalits are forced to do hard labor for very little respect. A painful example is when the narrator sees his father being made to plow a field like a bullock under the control of another man with a whip. This incident shows extreme humiliation and dehumanization. Even in religious life, discrimination exists because spiritual leaders do not enter the Dalit colony. So, through these experiences, Siddhalingaya shows how caste and poverty are deeply connected and shape the lives of Dalit people. Another 5 marks question from the poem Stammer. Stammer is not a defect, but it's a creative possibility. Discuss it with reference to the poem Stammer. K. Sachidanandan's poem Stammer presents stammering not as a defect but as a creative possibility in human speech. The poet clearly says that a stammer is not a handicap, it's a mode of speech, which challenges the idea that perfect speech is the only valid form of communication. It challenges the idea that perfect speech is only valid form of communication. He explains that stammer is the silence between a word and its meaning, showing that hesitation and pause are natural parts of expression. For example, just as lameness shows a gap between action and intention, similarly, stammering shows the gap between thought and speech. This makes us understand that language is not always smooth, and these breaks, these breaks actually carry meaning. The poet further develops the idea that stammering creates new ways of understanding language and meaning. He asks whether stammering existed before language or after language. Even he says that it makes linguists also stammer. That shows that it challenges fixed ideas about speech. He also says that when a whole people stammer, it becomes a mother tongue, and that means imperfection can shape culture and identity. In the final idea, He imagines that even God must have stammered while creating humans, which explains why human speech is full of multiple meanings. In this manner, stammering becomes a creative force that enriches language, poetry, and human expression rather than a weakness. Third question for 5 marks. In what ways does the essay critique both blind faith in English and rigid loyalty to Kannada? So this is a question from Dr. D.R. Nagaraj essay, The Kannada English Combat. And this essay critiques blind faith in English by showing that many people believe English alone can bring success and equality. He explains that people like Rangaswamy strongly trust English education and think it will automatically remove caste discrimination and poverty. For example, Rangaswamy struggles financially but still insists on sending his children to English medium schools, believing it will guarantee a better future. The essay shows that this blind belief is misleading because good English education is not equally available to everybody. Rural and poor children often lack proper teachers and facilities, so English becomes a symbol of hope, and that is not always real. At the same time, Dr. Nagaraj also criticizes rigid loyalty to Kannada, where some people believe only Kannada education should be followed. He shows that rejecting English completely can limit opportunities for students in a global world. For example, if children are taught only in Kannada, they miss job, higher education, wider knowledge. So the essay English Combat Kannada suggests that such strict loyalty ignores modern realities through Shiva Shankar's global outlook and Rangaswamy's struggle. Dr. Nagaraj shows that both extreme English worship and strict Kannada nationalism are problematic. He finally supports a balanced bilingual approach where Kannada preserves culture and English provides opportunity. Question number 4. Analyze the metaphor of marathon used by Nagaraj to describe social mobility and what does it reveal about systematic inequality. In the essay The Kannada English Combat, Dr. D.R. Nagaraj uses a metaphor of a marathon to explain social mobility as a long competitive race where everyone is expected to run towards success. In this race, education, especially English education, is presented as a track that leads to progress. However, the essay shows that not everyone starts from the same position. For example, elite children like Shiva Shankar's son, study in a well-equipped English medium schools in cities, while rural and Dalit children like Rangaswamy's children, they struggle in a poorly resourced schools. So this makes the race unfair since from the very beginning. The metaphor reveals deep systematic inequality because the rules of the race are controlled by powerful upper class. Nagaraj explains that those who already have money, caste privilege, and access to good English education, they continue to move ahead easily, while others are left behind. For example, Rangaswamy believes English will help his children win the race, but in reality, poor quality schools prevent them from competing equally. Thus, the marathon shows that social mobility is not based on equal opportunity, but on unequal system that favors a privileged and disadvantage the marginalized students. Fifth question. How does Lawrence show the difference between creative work and work done by machines in the poem work? I'm sorry, there's a typo error in the Kannada English Combat. I forgot to delete it. So D.S. Lawrence shows that creative work is natural, joyful, and full of life in the poem work. He believes that real work should absorb a person completely like a game or play. For example, he says that when a man goes out to work, he is alive like a tree in spring. That means he feels fresh, energetic, and happy. He also describes traditional workers like Hindu weavers comparing their work to trees, putting forth leaves. This shows that creative work is connected to nature and becomes an expression of human life and imagination. On the other hand, D.S. Lawrence shows that machine-based work is mechanical and lifeless. He criticizes industrial work because it removes joy and creativity from labor. For example, he imagines a world where humans may cancel the machines. That means his dislike of factory-like production. He doesn't like. He compares handmade objects like clothes, houses, cups to natural creations like a bird which is building its nest, like a snail making its shell. This shows that machines make the work impersonal, while creative work is personal, meaningful, and full of human feeling. Just a minute, 2 minutes. I need to just turn on my charger. Just a moment. Okay, sorry for the interruption. So, sixth question we have for the 5 marks. How does stammer reflect innate human vulnerability? So, K. Sachidanand's poem Stammer reflects innate human vulnerability by showing that hesitation, pause, and imperfection, they are the natural parts of human communication. The poet rejects the idea that stammer is a defect, and instead of saying this as a defect, he says that stammering is a mode of speech. He suggests that all humans, not just those who stammer, all humans experience gaps between thought and expression. When he says stammer is the silence between the word and its meaning, he highlights how humans often struggle to express exactly what they feel or think. This shows that uncertainty and imperfection are not usual, but it's a basic part of being human. The poem also deepens this idea by showing that vulnerability is shared by everyone and even shapes language itself. The poet says that even linguists also stammer while trying to define stammering. That means no one has complete control over language. He also suggests that when a whole people stammer, so a stammer becomes their mother tongue. That means collective human limitations shape culture and speech. Even the idea that God stammered while creating humans, that means imperfection is built into existing existence itself. Means to say the time we were created, imperfection was also created. Thus the poem presents vulnerability not as a weakness but as something universal and essential to human life and creativity. So these are the six questions, and out of six you are going to attempt four, 5 into 4 20. So far we have discussed here 40 marks questions from the literature part. So I would like to remind you that I have done the video on all those 5 lessons including novella, animal form, and all those videos links you can check in the description box. Now we are moving to the grammar component that's called communication skills or communicative skills. That's for 40 marks. In each component there are 8 components, 5 into 8 40. So let's begin it very first. So first we have questions from interview skills. So here you'll be having questions, 1 mark questions, don't worry, very easy questions, only 1 mark. You write answer in one word or one line. 1 mark, 5 questions from interview skills. First question, what are interview skills? I have given some long answers. Interview skills are the abilities required to perform well in an interview. They include good communication, confidence, body language, listening skills, and the ability to answer questions clearly and effectively. Mention any two type of interviews: structured interview, unstructured interview, stress interview, telephonic interview, like this. What are the stages of an interview? Pre-interview preparation, opening stage, question answer session, closing stage. List any three key interview skills. First, good communication skills. Second, positive body language. And third, listening skill. What is a mock interview? A mock interview is called as a practice interview, which is conducted to prepare a candidate for a real interview. It helps the candidates to improve confidence, communication skills, and performance by simulating real interview conditions. So these are the 5 questions, only 1 mark questions from interview skills, so easy to attempt. Next part we have here 5 questions from group discussion topic. Again, 1 mark, 5 questions. You need to answer only in simple one line answer. I have given an extra answer so that you can attempt better if you have some extra questions. What is the purpose of group discussion? The purpose of group discussion is to evaluate a person's communication skills, teamwork, leadership qualities, and ability to express the ideas clearly on a given topic. It also helps in understanding different viewpoints and reaching a better conclusion through group interaction. Mention the stages of group discussion. First, initiation. Second, idea presentation. Third, discussion and analysis. And fourth is the conclusion. These are the 4 stages. List any 2 skills evaluated in the GD. One is a communication skills, second is the leadership skills. Then which are the 7 C's of team building? I'm sorry, there may be some disturbance due to those Sabjiwala vendors. Okay, 7 C's: communication, cooperation, coordination, commitment, confidence, creativity, conflict resolution. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. You just read by the time. All vegetable vendors will come whenever I do some recording. My goodness. Okay. Fifth question we have true false. Fifth question, but it's asking that you should answer in one paragraph. In a group discussion, there is no need to show respect towards other opinions. Do we agree or not? No, we don't agree. How? It's a false statement because in GD, it's very important to show respect towards others' opinions. Participants should listen carefully, avoid interruption, respond politely, even if they disagree. Why? Because a respectful behavior helps to maintain the healthy discussion, encourage teamwork, it leads to a better understanding and conclusion. So like this, you have 5 questions from GD, that's group discussion, each for 1 mark, right? Done. Next, this is quite very traditional question you have here. Read the passage and answer the questions based on it. So you have to read the passage and there will be 5 questions based on the passage. So I think from your PUC, since 12th standard, you have been doing this, right? Next, you have here answer any one of the following questions. So this is something new for you. It's a event report. So if you go through your textbook, there are 2 types of event report. One is a general event report. One is the event report. Second is a field report, field event report. So first we have here, so like this, you will have a question in the exams. Write an event report on a blood donation camp conducted in your college in collaboration with Rotary Club, highlighting the main events and student participation. This is the event report. Or with an option, or write a field report based on your visit to Baneghatta National Park, describing your observations and key findings. So one is the event report, one is the field report. Okay, so I have prepared an answer based on your textbook sample report. So I gone through your textbook and I prepared the answer based on the your textbook sample report. Please do refer to your textbook also. So let's discuss one by one. First, event report on blood donation camp. So according to textbook, first we have to write here the title, then the college name, then afterwards where was the this particular event was happened and on which date and what is the objective of this event and who inaugurated the event and how the event was conducted, how many teams were there, and what is the outcome of the event. So generally I'm not going to read the answer. You can pause the video and you can read the particular answer on your screen. So this is the general way. So generally what happens when we write in an event report, we use a passive voice. So this is where your grammar knowledge will help you. Let's look at this statement. The campus was the camp was conducted, was set up. Okay, then a good number of blood units were collected. So you'll be finding the elements of passive voice in the event report. Second, you have here field report based on your visit to Banegata National Park, describing your observations. So event you conduct, and somewhere if you go somewhere, that's called field report. So it has its own format where you need to write your name, register number, class, institution name, date of visit, submitted to whom, I mean to say any person, and remaining thing will be same, that on so and so date the visit was conducted, and what are the things you observed there, and what is the highlights were there, and what is the outcome of visit to Banegata National Park. So most of the you're writing in the past tense. So event report or the field visit report. Field visit, field report means you go to a field, you go to a place, and you talk about the place in the past tense. Event report means you conduct any event and you describe the features. How did you conduct? What were the highlights? So these are few characteristics of this particular question. So you have a choice here, and this is for 5 marks. Next. Now, you have a passage. Another question is your summarization. One passage will be given and you need to summarize the passage. So I'm not going to read here. So it's very simple. Look at this passage, and the passage has about 200 words, and I have summarized this passage to 200 words to 100 words approximately. So when you are summarizing, keep in the mind that you are not repeating the same ideas again. Secondly, you are not exactly copy pasting the same vocabulary. You are summarizing it, you are condensing it. So summarization, 5 marks. Next, you have here the another question, email writing. You have business correspondence, email writing. So 2 emails, questions will be given, and you need to opt any one email, and you have one email, write an inquiry mail requesting information about an online certification course in business communication offered by a training institute. Ask about duration, fees, or registration process. And second is the apology mail. You are apologizing someone. So let's see the first one, inquiry. So there's no need to write the from email address, because electronic mail, it's by default. Date we don't mention, it's by default. Only what we need to type, the receiver's email ID, that's called to email ID. Then subject, salutation, dear sir, madam. Then you start your email that I'm writing to inquire about the online certification course in business communication offered by your training institute. I'm interested in enhancing my communication skills for academic and professional development. Kindly provide details regarding the course duration, fee structure, and the registration process. I would also like to know about the class schedule, mode of assessment, whether any certification will be provided upon successful completion of the course. I would be grateful if you could share the necessary information at your earliest convenience. Thank you for your time and assistance. Best regards, and your name. So simple, straightforward, right? There's no from to etc. Second email we have here, you missed submitting a project report to your supervisor on time due to technical issues. Write an email apologizing for the delay and requesting an extension. So it's an apology mail. So you can go through the content. I need not read the content. The structure, this is the structure of the email. So I have done a video on email writing also. So you can watch my exclusive video on email writing and the letter writing as well. So you will get a lot of ideas and so with a lot of examples, because writing you cannot learn in an overnight. You have to do a lot of practice. You have to write a lot, then you can reach to the perfection of writing. Okay, so till now writing skills. Now we are moving to the questions from research. You have an introduction to research, the last unit, and here that's for 10 marks. Research questions will be for 10 marks. How? The ninth question, number 9, is in the two sections, section A, section B. So in the section A, you'll be asked basic questions about research, 1 mark questions, not many, 1 mark questions, 5 questions. This is something like this. Number 1, what is research? Research is a systematic process of collecting, analyzing, interpreting information to find answers to questions or solve problems. Name any one component of research process like objectives, problem identification, methodology, conclusion, recommendations, etc. Mention one objective of the research, obviously to discover new knowledge or to find the research gap. What is a literature review? A literature review is a summary and evaluation of existing studies and research related to a particular topic. What are the two types of data? Primary data and secondary data. So like this, you'll be given very basic questions, 1 mark, 5 questions. So I suggest you to read the theory from your textbook because I have not done any video on this topic. So please read the theory from your textbook. That's going to help you a lot. Now, another compulsory question. This is a part one. Another compulsory question from the research topic. Compose 5 survey questions to collect data on any one of the topics. So you have 3 topics: online learning, social media impact, study habits. So out of 3 topics, you have to prepare on any one topic. Select any one topic and you need to write 5 survey questions. 5 survey questions you need to prepare, and there you will be getting 5 out of 5. So with reference to your textbook, I prepared the answer. First, for online learning, survey questions, like you can prepare closed questions, open-ended questions. Do you find online learning more effective than classroom learning? Yes or no? How often do you attend online classes? Irregularly, always, sometimes, never? What advice do you mainly use for online learning? Mobile, laptop, tablet? Do you face technical issues during the online classes? Frequently, sometimes, never? Are you satisfied with the quality of online teaching? Satisfied, neutral, not satisfied? So like this, you have to prepare the questions. So please refer all the examples in your research topic from your textbook. Second, social media impact. So here you have these 5 questions. How many hours do you spend on social media daily? Less than 1, 1 to 3, more than 3? Does social media affect your academic performance? Yes or no? What is your main purpose of using social media? Education, entertainment, communication? Do you feel social media increases stress or distraction? Yes or no? Have you ever reduced study time due to social media usage? Yes or no? So, a very mixed questions you should prepare. Study habits. How many hours do you study daily outside the class? Less than 1, 1 to 3, more than 3. Do you follow fixed study timetables? Yes or no? Where do you prefer studying? Home, library, other? Do you revise lessons regularly after class? Always, sometimes, never. What is your main distraction while studying? Mobile, TV, friends, none. So like this, any one topic you select, prepare 5 survey questions. Now I thought, why should I thought that let me give you some notes on questions in a questionnaire. So you can take a screenshot here. That's going to help you a lot to prepare the questions. Like open-ended question, which starts with W. Close-ended questions, how? Multiple choice questions also you can prepare. Dichotomous questions you can prepare with yes or no. Rating scale questions you can prepare satisfied, neutral, etc. Ranking questions you can prepare. Demographic questions you can prepare your age group. Checklist question you can prepare here. Short answer question also you can prepare. So these are the different types of questions you can prepare. So let's look at, so this is how I've done the model question paper solution. So very quickly, let's look at the blueprint once again. From novella, 5 marks 2 questions, 10 mark 1 questions. From the 4 lessons, 5 marks 4 questions, 20. So totally 40 marks from literary skills, and from communicative skills, interview skills, 5 marks. 1 into 5, 1 mark 5 questions. Group discussion, 1 mark 5 questions. Group comprehension question passage, 1 mark 5 questions. Report writing, event report or field visit report, 5 marks. Summarizing, 5 marks. Email etiquette with an option, 5 marks. Questions on research, 1 mark 5 questions. Research questionnaire, out of 3 on any one topic you have to write the questionnaire. That's again for 5 marks. So dear BCU 4th semester BCom students, this is how I have tried my best to solve the model question paper, and please do subscribe the channel for more videos, and all the videos links are in the description box. And obviously if time permits, According to your BCU timetable, I'll upload the last minute revision video if the time permits. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you need any kind of notes, etc., you can mail me directly on this email ID on your screen, mukeshenglish@gmail.com. Thank you so much for being connected with my channel.